Hey everyone, it's Mary and I'm back here with 30 Days of Inspiration. Today we're going to talk about something that I get a lot of questions about, and that is imposter syndrome. When you feel like a fraud, when you're trying something for the very first time, I call it the old FFT, when you're trying something for the very first time, or when you're trying to go down a new path or build a new relationship or start anything new, we end up in imposter syndrome. I don't know if this is true, but I venture to say that it happens more to women than it does men. I have my own philosophy on that. Maybe I'll share that with you during the session, but I'll tell you there's a lot to talk about. I recently did a workshop over at the university for a group of international women on imposter syndrome. So I'm going to share with you what the research that I found and the things that we talked about during this session. These women were from all over the globe. They were not only from Poland and Belarus and Ukraine, Turkey, Vietnam, Azerbaijan. Like it didn't matter. And it also didn't matter their age. So I found that was very interesting, that it didn't matter where they came from, what their demographic was as far as how they grew up in a wealthy family or in a poor family. It didn't matter. Everybody had the same feeling about feeling as though they were an imposter. So listen to this quote. "The hardest challenge is to be yourself in a world where everyone is trying to make you be somebody else." And when you think about that, how our world has changed since social media came into the picture, where we see people like big and big. We see them big. We see these influencers. We see people like, you might even think, oh, I would love to do videos like you. I get this all the time in my workshops. I really want to do online courses. I really want to, share my expertise, but I'm afraid to get on video. Well, you're afraid to get on video because of what other people think. That's being outside of yourself. You cannot control what's outside of yourself. The only thing that you can control is right here. And they say, like, I have heard it said that this is 6 inches, that everybody's brain is 6 inches. I don't really know if that's true, but if it is, you get a measuring stick and look at 6 inches and then go, seriously? That's what's stopping me, is 6 inches? I mean, come on. All right, so let's go on. I'm gonna share with you some quotes from other women that you may know. Meryl Streep. "Why would anyone want to see me again in a movie? I don't know how to act, so why am I doing this?" Meryl Streep. You think she's got it, you think that this is something that she just gets a script and she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna crank this out. Not. She gets stuck in her head. "When I won the Oscar, I thought it was a fluke. I thought everyone would find out and they'd take it back." That's Jodie Foster. "Even though I had sold 70 million albums, there I was feeling like I'm no good at this." So if you're feeling like a fraud, if you're feeling like you can't do something, then use these as examples. Like these women keep doing because they can't stop. They can't stop. It's just in them. Sometimes I wake up in the morning before going off to a shoot and I think, I can't do this. I'm a fraud. Have you ever seen the movie The Holiday with Kate Winslet? Or the Titanic? She thinks she's a fraud. What about you? So it's said that over 70% of people, the study didn't refer to either, didn't break it down into either men or women, but 70% of people suffer from imposter syndrome. So you're never alone in this. Just know that, like, these people that you see online that are doing their thing, or an actor or your boss, like they're asking themselves the same thing. How did I land in this position? What were they thinking? I've said that to myself many times. When I was interviewed, I had a company call me up one time in the mid 90s in America, when I was in America. And the CEO of the company called me and said, "Hey, I'd like you to come in and talk to me about a new role that I have that I think you're perfect for." And when I went in to talk to him, he said to me, "I would really like you to be my national sales manager." And I said to him, Are you talking to me? Are you asking me? Like, what makes you think that I can do that job?" And he said to me, "You don't have to know how to do it. You just have to be able to listen to some guidelines that I have, and I'll teach you everything that you need to know." So when are you going to stop looking outside of yourself for the answers and come back in? So this is what I shared with these girls at the university. The top 10 mindset changes for overcoming imposter syndrome. These are all things that you can do. They're all free. Therefore, as I've said before, that's what makes them hard. They're all simple. Therefore, that's what makes it difficult and frustrating. This isn't like, and don't think that this imposter syndrome, once you get over one kind of imposter syndrome, like you're gonna approach your boss for a raise, for instance. Don't think that just because you grasped it this time that it's not gonna come up again, because then it will be something different. Because as we evolve, we're constantly seeking for new opportunities. That's just part of being a human. Our subconscious is an opportunity-seeking mechanism. That's what it was made for. Like, that's why we have it. So know that this is not one and done. But these tips, if you work on them, these tips, or come back to this time and time again, you can too get through imposter syndrome. So number one, perfectionism. Like, that's the death of every dream, of everything anybody ever wanted to do. First of all, there is really no such thing as perfect, because when you think that you got there, then there's always something that's going to be like, well, I could have done this, or I could have done that. It doesn't matter. Like if you were designing a piece of furniture, it doesn't matter. You come up with a new idea, you want to refine it a little bit. Everything is a work in progress, and you are too. Stop comparing yourself to others. In going and growing and creating this next best version of ourselves every single day, because you want to wake up in the morning and feel like by the end of the day that you did something awesome, cool, you accomplished something. So stop comparing yourself to others, because when you compare yourself to others, that's an outside game. That's a game that you will lose at. Because in comparing ourselves to others, there's always somebody else. It's not just, I'm comparing myself to this influencer, for instance. I'm comparing myself to another midlife woman that's doing inspirational videos. If I'm comparing myself to somebody else, she hasn't had my experiences. She's had her experiences. Maybe she has better camera equipment than I do. Maybe she has better lighting. Maybe she edits her videos better than I do. My message is my message. It's not her message. We can have similarities, but there's no reason to compare ourselves to others. Faking things actually does work. So this is the cool thing, is that if you tell your subconscious that you're just going to try something, that this is like a dress rehearsal. I talk about that a lot in my workshops. feel like you're in the story of the Emperor's New Clothes. You know, he puts on a cloak, he feels better, he stands up better, he feels like he can rule better. Really, that had nothing to do with it, but in his head it did. Faking it actually does work because it allows the subconscious not to have to play a role in protecting you, because in reality, that's what the subconscious is there to do. It's to protect us from the oncoming lion. But there are no more oncoming lions anymore. It's just us against us. So faking it does work. Expectations versus outcomes. So when we set the bar too high and we don't achieve it, we yet again get to tell ourselves that we're not worthy, we're not deserving, we're not good enough, pretty enough, fat enough, rich enough, whatever enough is for you. We get to tell ourselves that by looking at the expectations that we set upon ourselves versus the outcome. How can I look at what is the outcome that I want to achieve? What do I want? What would I like you to glean from watching this video? That's what I need to look at, rather than the expectation that you will glean something. The outcome is, this is what I'm projecting. This is what I would like you to be able to learn, call forth in your life. This is what I would like you to be able to do, because these are proven. This isn't stuff that I actually made up. These are proven and researched acts that are real. So I'm looking at the outcome that I would like you to have after watching today's video. Celebrate your wins. I think I talked about that in yesterday's video, where we don't take time. The world is spinning so fast. We don't take time to look at our wins, and we have them every day. Every day we have changed. I woke up this morning. I'm not the same person that I was yesterday. Even some of my cells have died off because I'm renewing cells every day. My whole body changes every 7 years. So how can I compare myself to myself 7 years ago? Because I'm a totally different person. All my cells have changed. So I'm a totally different person. So why do I have to keep comparing myself to when I was 5 or 8 or 13 or 30 or 66? Why? Just say why. Keep a journal. I don't know. Maybe I need to start a journal line to get people to take pen to paper. It's important. Putting down the thoughts, because what happens when you keep a journal is you get to see how your thoughts have changed. And I have journals from like 20 years ago, and I actually brought them with me. I moved my box of journals over here to Europe with me. That's how important my journals are to me, because I've been able to see how far I've come, and where the things, those reoccurring things that I do keep coming up, and like what I need to pay attention to in creating new healthy habits. Fail forward. Don't be afraid to trip up. Like I trip up online all the time. Like I say ridiculous things in my workshops all the time, and because I don't do anything scripted, it's like I'm coming from my heart and my head, and the two sometimes collide. So don't feel bad or embarrassed or shame or guilt or anything about failing forward. That's how we learn. If you're not failing forward, you're not learning, you're not growing. If you're doing something for that, pardon my expression, fucking first time, you are going to trip up. We all are going to trip up. What are you going to do for the first time today that maybe you could fail forward with? Begin where you are and take action. Again, this whole comparison thing, you got to start where you are. You can't start where I am. It took me years to get here. You can't start where I am. You have to start where you are. And so maybe there are things you need to learn. There are things you need to implement. There are strategies you need to put in place. There's a plan, first of all, you need to put in place. Time management. You need to start measuring what you're doing so that you can see your growth, right? So don't get in this this place of looking at somebody else. Again, that's outside of yourself. It's who are you? What are you doing? What do you want to do? You got to try something. Like, I don't know, try something. What are you good at? What do you like? What do you like to do? Do you like to bake chocolate chip cookies? Go bake chocolate chip cookies online if you're looking for something to do. Go write a book specifically about the different kinds of chocolate that you could use in chocolate chip cookies. I've learned the difference from being over here in Europe where I can't get Nestle's semi-sweet chocolate chip cookies for cookies, nor can I get the compact brown sugar that we have in America. So my chocolate chip cookies over here are very different. So would somebody please write a book about the difference in chocolate chip cookies, in chocolate chips? Like, that would be really great. You don't have to have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I have 67 years of life experience. I have 40 something years of work experience. I have traveled a lot, so I've got those experiences. I have the honor of working with and meeting women from around the globe. Like, I have those experiences, but I don't have to have all the answers. That's what these people that I meet can do for me. And what I'm good at, or better yet, what I'm not good at, somebody else is. That's where their strength is. So I don't need to be that. I need to be me. I don't need to be this person over here. I don't need to be the person that understands or wants to play in the compliance field, for instance. Somebody else does that really, really well. That's why I'm not a lawyer, right? That's why I'm here with you and not in a law firm. So play where your strengths are. You don't have to have all the answers ever. And then finally, you are going to die. You are going to die. Like, I don't know where I'm going to die. I don't know how I'm going to die. But I'll tell you, it's so selfish to die with these riches within us. That's how I feel about death. And that's why I keep showing up like this, is that I don't really have to do this or need to do this, but I feel as though this is the rent that I'm paying for my peace on earth. So don't die with those riches inside of you just because you have this ongoing record that's playing of that you are an imposter. Because as we heard from Jennifer Lopez, even though I had sold 70 million albums, there was still a feeling of like, I'm no good at this. Or Meryl Streep, why would anyone want to see me again in a movie? I don't know how to act, so why am I doing this? Jodie Foster, when I won the Oscar, I thought it was a fluke. I thought everyone would find out and then take it back. So know that you're not alone in this imposter syndrome thing, but do know that there are some simple yet difficult mindset shifts that you have to take. And doing this, again, I can't do it for you. Your mother can't do it. Your best friend can't do it. These are things that you have to kind of let go it alone, but know that you are not alone in feeling as though you are an imposter, but that there are things that you can do to help mitigate them. I hope that this was helpful. This is such a huge topic. I could spend a whole few hours in talking about it in the experiences that I've had from women from around the globe, because as I mentioned, it's not any different. So keep coming back. Tomorrow I'll be back again with another 30 days of inspiration. I so look forward to seeing you then. Don't forget, if you know of somebody that you feel as though could use this message, don't forget to share, because sharing is caring. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow. Ciao.